welcome to another video, the One Good Road here. Today I thought I'd give you a review on this portable power station that I picked up from a company called Vevor about 1 or 2 weeks ago. I think about, yeah. And so I've owned this battery for about 2 weeks. It's a 300 watt hour, roughly. I mean, it's 296 watt hours, it says on the website. And it can produce 300 watts out of the AC plug that comes on it. And we're going to be talking through some of the pros and cons. I'll be talking to you about the specification and just my overall thoughts on owning the battery for about 2 weeks roughly. So yeah, we'll just begin with the specifications. I think but it's important, but at the same time you can just read this on the website if you need to. In fact, I'm reading a lot of the specifications straight from the website, to be honest. So if we go, I'll just list through some of the specification that is important, I think, to mention. It's a 296 watt hour capacity, so that's like roughly 80,000 milliamp hours. Each cell inside the battery, inside the solar generator, is 2,900 milliamp hours. It's got an AC plug for AC output. It's got an AC output. It's got 2 DC outputs for charging various different things like batteries and etc. And then it's got another 12 volt DC input. That's very important for the solar charging. What else do we have? We've got the USB ports. We've got 2 USB-A ports and then 2 USB-C ports. All of these plugs can be activated with the push of a button, which is pretty cool. We've got a USB-C port that is rated up to 100 watts maximum, but make sure that you buy a cable that is rated for 100 watts if it's a USB-C cable. If you buy a USB-C cable that's maybe 50 watts, you're not going to be able to charge like your MacBook or your laptop that needs more power than just that. So just keep that in mind, is make sure you get enough power for it to run. It has a pure sine wave waveform output that comes through the AC output, which is very useful, I think. So it says it's 300 watts max that you can take out the battery, but the peak performance is probably around 500 to 600 watts. But word of caution, do not use anything over 300 watts. I highly discourage that. For example, my older battery, one of the reasons I needed to get another one, a more powerful battery, is because the fuse failed because I overcharged the fuse. Basically, the battery was a company called Bowden's, which is, I realize now that they're all the same batteries in China, and then they just rebrand them. That's what I'm noticing. This could be maybe something like that. There could be a bunch of them, like the same model in China, maybe. Unsure about that, but anyway, the point is that I blew the fuse on it, and luckily my friend replaced the fuse for me, which was awesome, and the battery is functioning again. But I learned something, that you really do not want to use what it is rated for, because the physical fuse inside has a limit. The cable itself has a certain amount of charge that you can that it can take before it breaks. So make sure you don't go over 300 watts. And luckily you've got on the display something that tells you exactly how much watts. Maybe it's not exactly, but it seems pretty accurate from my testing. It tells you how many watts each item is using, and it's incredible. I find that such a useful feature, which I didn't have on my other ones. Anyway, so make sure you don't overuse it. Don't abuse the power rating that's rated on it. 300 watts is the maximum, and I'll show you running a kettle on it later on, which is pretty cool. Electric kettle. There's a small 2 watt LED light on the side, which is actually really powerful, like surprisingly powerful. It's got different levels, 3 different levels. It's got strobe mode, and which is good for camping. It's got a battery. The battery cycle is rated at 1,000 cycles, and until it drops to 80%. And honestly, that's pretty good. I'll have to try and test it in the next couple years and just like see how it goes. So definitely stay subscribed, see what happens in the future, because in 2 weeks of testing, I can only give you like a rough idea of what I think. I think it's better than unboxing it and then just unboxing it and that's it. I mean, it's important that you test it a little bit before you make any kind of review. I notice a lot of people are not reviewing it before they use it. I have read some reviews where people say that some models are a bit sketchy, so I'm very curious what the customer service is like from Vevor. I have no idea. Their website seems really good and clean, and it's great that they have distributors in Europe, UK, the United States, and obviously China. And they seem pretty good, but I haven't tried their customer service yet. You get a 12-month warranty, so 1 year warranty with the portable. They're calling it portable power station. I'm used to calling it a solar generator. Um, and and yeah, that's the warranty that you get with it. The rest of the specification is all listed online, so I'm going to kind of like go past that now. Last thing to mention is that it weighs 3 kilograms, which is a really good plus side. It is not heavy. I mean, it's really, really light. So while we're talking actually about specification, we should probably mention that the lithium-ion technology inside of it, the battery, was something that concerned me. But actually, when I think about it, everything prior to the lithium-ion phosphate stuff, the new battery technology, it's actually still pretty good. It doesn't obviously last as long as the lithium ion phosphate stuff, but the LiPo 4 stuff, the LiPo 4 batteries. But if you think about it, like pretty much all phones, smartphones, and even the batteries that you run inside your camera, they use this lithium ion battery technology, and it's the best that we have, and well, until lithium ion phosphate is now better. But I still think it's pretty good. If you think about it, I when I'm draining the battery, I lose about, like, let's say 50% of the battery, let's say, throughout the day, and then I'm left with 50%. So I'm going to charge it the next day, but I could even use it further. And I think generally with batteries, you want to keep them around 20 to about 90% charge. I mean, that's their ideal space to be in. They need it to be like flowing, but not too much. You don't want to drain it completely. I mean, everybody's got probably a different idea with that. I find that the lithium ion should last me, if you do the math, it should last you, 3 years, and then it'll get to 80%. Hopefully that'll be the case. If you get even if you think about it, even if you get 5 years out of it and it's still running at 80% capacity, I mean that's pretty good. And then these things, that is a big plus side. The main thing about this, the battery, is it's selling for about 200 euros. I bought it for 200 euros, or 181 pounds to be exact. And I think it's a bargain for the price so far. I mean, it's only 2 weeks of ownership, but I still think it's pretty amazing what you can power with it. Anyway, let's move on from some of that. You can have a look at some of the specification online, scroll through the website. Where should you buy it? Well, you've got two options. You can go through Amazon, but I believe Amazon's only this one is only available through the Amazon US site. The other option is to buy it straight from Vevor, the company Vevor, and that's another option. And I think it arrived really in prompt time. It was really, really pretty quick. It was free shipping, and they delivered it straight to my doorstep. And so the real world testing, when it comes to the big pros with it, is that I like to run an electric kettle off this battery. And the electric kettle uses 326 watts maximum that it says, but it's 300 watts that it's rating on the kettle itself. The kettle is from a company called Xiaomi. It's a company that makes a lot of electronics, a bit like Vevor. You just plug it in. You have a little monitor that tells you how much of the degrees the water is inside. It takes about 7 minutes to boil, completely all the way up to 100 degrees Celsius. If you want a cup of tea, you do not need that. You don't need it to be 100 degrees Celsius. That's really too hot. But for cooking instant food, I cook porridge in it. I cook the oats. You can put couscous. You can heat up food like that. It's pretty amazing that you can heat this. You get the power from the sun, and then you're cooking your food with it and eating and drinking. It's like, wow, that's incredible. I still have a gas bottle just in case for other stuff, but it's still pretty cool, and it works. I'm very curious what it will be like in the long term. When we look around the unit, like I said, we've got 4 USB plugs. We've got the DC, we've got the AC plug, and we've got the light. We've got a fan around the back. The fan kicks in when it's getting too hot, and it tries to reduce the heat. There's some information on the back, which I'll let you read if you need to see what's on the back of the device. There's some little grippy pads on the bottom, which is good. You get a charging cable and a charging cable for charging it in a car outlet. There's a handle on the top. That is kind of one of the cons. I would say the handle is a little bit flimsy. I don't feel like it's super sturdy. I wouldn't feel comfortable walking around with it a lot. It's good enough to pick up the device, but just be careful. I don't feel like it's that sturdy, including the entire housing. The housing feels basic plastic. It's just to give you an idea of where to put the plugs in, and it keeps everything all together in one package. But if you drop this battery, I'm not convinced that it'll be okay. I think you will damage the housing, because the plastic is just plastic. It's not metal. And I think that could be an improvement on a future model, is to use an aluminium or metal that would improve the stability. That's just one of the small cons about it, but other than that, I think there's a lot of good pro things about it. The charge time is pretty quick, which was amazing. You've got, like I said, loads of different ports. I got some footage of me charging it through the solar system. So I have a 100-watt panel that's from Renogy. I'll leave a link, an Amazon affiliate link in the description. And basically, that panel is charging everything I need. It's incredible. The maximum input that comes into the battery is around 70 watts of power. I love that I have finally a wattage meter, which is just so freaking handy. I love that feature on the battery. There's even on the side, you have the big numbers, and that's indicating hours and minutes that you can run something. Also a very, 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 very useful feature. So I can run the kettle. It takes 7 minutes to boil, and it's really awesome. What else can it? I run my Samsung tablet, my phone, and I also run my MacBook, which uses 80 watts of power, but I can charge that through the USB-C port, which is like really cool. I find that so handy. I don't have to use the AC plug if I don't want to. But make sure you get a cable that's rated to 100 watts. That's really important. Otherwise, that won't work. I noticed on the US model, you have two AC plugs. And for some reason on the European model, we only have one. It probably just takes up more space. That's a bummer. So if you need extra plugs, you can just plug in an extender, and then you can have 3 extra plugs or whatever you need. Again, make sure you just calculate, okay, that uses 100 watts, that uses 50, and that uses 50. I'm okay, I'm within the range, it's fine. And you can monitor all of that through the display. On a cloudy day, I'm noticing that it charges like 20 watts yeah, it brings in 20 watts of power through a DC plug, like I said. And it charges really well. I'm not worried about running out of power. And now I have two batteries. I have my other one, my older battery, which is still really good. It's the LiPo 4 battery. Um, and I use that to run the lights in the cabin, but I can also run the lights off the other battery if I want to. And I also run a small electric pump to pump water onto the roof, probably at 80 watts. I've got a TV that runs around 80 watts of power, I believe. I'm going to test that at some point. Haven't watched film on that for quite a while, but it's highly doable on this system now. And it tells you how long that you can run the TV for, which I think is a really, really valuable feature. Yeah, but it's a really good battery. There's an affiliate link down below if you want to support the channel. I think that's most of what I would like to mention about the battery. If you have any other questions about the battery, the portable power station, I really think this is one of the best budget portable power stations, especially if you get it on clearance. And stay subscribed for what the battery will be like in a year or two. I'll do another review on it later. If you'd like a review on the electric kettle, let me know. If you want a review on the Bowden's battery bank or power station, let me know. The Renogy panel as well is working really well. And that's pretty much it. So subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are for future videos. Hopefully you like some of the content I've been putting out recently. Bilingual video recently put out with a friend. Yeah, more off-grid stuff and minimalism coming up. Just subscribe for more content. So yeah, see you in the next video.